Hi, I'm Shelley and welcome to my tutorial. Today we're going to be making a baby cardigan, but this time it's not going to be top down, it's just going to be a standard layout crochet garment. I'm using hooked soft cotton yarn, which is a double knitting weight. It's quite difficult to work with, but it is a lot softer than other types of cotton yarn. And we're going to begin with a 3.5mm hook, and we're going to chain 41 stitches. See why I say it's hard to work with? It's because it does split very easily. Now this is the back, by the way, and for the first row we're going to treble into the third chain from the hook and then treble into each chain until you reach the end. I should also add that this yarn is recycled cotton, but you can use any double knitting yarn to make this cardigan. I particularly liked the idea of making one with the soft cotton because, like I say, it is very soft and there's a huge range of colours, and I really did like this pink. So just continue working a treble into each chain. The next row begins with a chain 3, and then we're going to work around the back loop of the next treble, and then around the front loop of the next treble, and we're just going to continue alternating back post treble and front post treble, and then just continue doing that to the end of the row and finish with a treble into the turning chain. So for the next row we've changed to the 4mm hook, and we're going to chain 1 and then work a double crochet into the first stitch, and then chain 2 and then miss 2 stitches and work a double crochet into the next stitch, chain 2, miss 2 stitches and work a double crochet into the next stitch, chain 2. You see how it goes? It's just this to the end of the row, chain 2, miss 2 stitches and double crochet into the next stitch, and continue until the end of the row. And then at the end of the row, miss 2 stitches, double crochet into the next stitch and into another double crochet into the turning chain. See my yarn splitting there, but never mind. So the next row we're going to start with a chain 3, and then you're going to work a treble, a chain and a treble into the 2 chain space from the previous row, and then you're just going to do the same in each 2 chain space, treble, chain and treble, and just continue doing that, treble, chain, treble, until you reach the end of the row and you finish with a treble into the chain one from the previous row. So we're going to begin the next row with a chain 3, and then we're going to work 5 trebles into the first V-shaped space. And then we're going to do exactly the same into each V-shaped space in the row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then just continue to do the same into each V-shaped space until you get to the end of the row, and then just a treble into the turning chain. The next row we're going to start with a double crochet, a chain and a double crochet into the first stitch, and then we're going to work a double crochet into the second treble of the fan and miss a stitch, and another double crochet into the 4th stitch of the fan, and then we're going to chain 1, and again we're going to go into the second chain of the fan with a double crochet, and then into the miss a stitch and into the 4th chain of the fan, and then chain 1. So just continue to do that all the way along the row and finish with a double crochet into the turning chain at the end. So this row is going to be essentially the same as row 1, but it's going to seem slightly different because we've got the pattern below. So chain 1 and double crochet into the first space, and then chain 2, and you're going to look for this space. There'll be a space at the left of the first fan, so you're going to double crochet into that, and you're going to chain 2, and then go into the next space, double crochet and chain 2, and then into the next space, double crochet, chain 2, and just repeat to the end of the row and finish with a double crochet into the last space and into the chain 1. Now that is going to make up the pattern. So if you take the pattern as an entirety, so you're going to do another 3 lots of the pattern for this size, which is the newborn size. The other sizes will be on the screen, and then you're just going to fasten off after repeating the first row again. So now the back's completed, we're going to start on the right front, and you're going to work the right front in the beginning exactly the same as the back, except you're going to chain 21 stitches and then work a row of treble and a row of back and front post treble as you did for the back, and then you're going to go into the pattern as you did for the back, and you know, just rewind the video to remind yourself. As long as you know that you've got 21 stitches instead of 41, it's exactly the same, but you're going to finish 6 rows before the end of the back that you did, so 6 rows lower. So with right side facing, we've just done the row where we do double crochets into the top of the fan. So now we're on the row where we do the 2 chains. So we're going to decrease on each alternate row for the next 6 rows. So we're gonna double crochet 2 together at the beginning of the row, and on the rows where you're using trebles, treble 2 together. And then we're going to chain 2 and find the divide, chain 2 and find the divide, double crochet, chain 2, find the divide, chain 2, and just continue to the end of this row. So we're going to work the next row. I'm going to start it in the usual way, chain 3 and treble, chain 1, treble into each stitch, into each 2 chain space, I should say, treble, chain 1, treble, and just do that until you get to the last 2 chains here. So then we're just going to work 1 treble into the last space, and then we're going to work another treble into the next stitch. And then for the next row, we're going to decrease again, so chain 3 and miss the first gap and chain 5 into the next V shape and continue in the pattern as normal for the rest of the row. And just continue to the end of the row and then work the next row as normal, and then do another decrease on the next row, and that will be the end of the decreases, and then you'll just need to work straight until the front measures the same as the back. So now to do the left front, you work it in exactly the same way as the right front, but you just start the decreasing on the opposite side to the side you started for the right front. And then once you've done that, we'll go on to the sleeves. So chain 21, and just as you did, ouch, just as you did with the left and right fronts, we're going to start by trebling into the 3rd chain from the hook and then into each stitch. And then when you've done this row, do the row of alternative front back post and front post treble alternate stitches. So the first row of the sleeve, we're going to chain 1 and then work 2 double crochets into the first stitch, because we're going to increase on this row and the next 2 alternate rows. So 2 chains, miss 2 stitches as before, and then continue to the end of the row. So begin the next row with the chain 3 and then work a treble into the increased stitch from the previous row, and then 1 treble, 1 chain, 1 treble into the 2 chain space, and then continue working treble, chain and treble into each 2 chain space. And at the end of the row, work a treble into the increase stitch from the previous row, and then a treble into the turning chain. And the next row is another increase row, so we're going to chain 3 and we're going to work a stitch into the base of the chain, and then another stitch into the next stitch, and then we're going to work a fan of 5 trebles into the V as before, and just continue working the 5 trebles into each V until you get to the end of the row. And when you get to the end of the row, work a treble into the increased stitch, and then increase by doing 2 trebles into the next stitch, and finally a treble into the turning chain. And for the next row, chain 1, a double crochet into the same stitch, and we're going to work an increase here. So we're going to, sorry, not work an increase, we're going to make sure we don't lose the increase. So we're going to double crochet into the first treble and do another double crochet into the next treble, and then chain 1 and double crochet into the second stitch of the next fan and a 4th stitch of the next fan. Chain 1, double crochet into the first fan and another double crochet into the 4th fan, and chain 1, and just repeat to the end of the row. And when you get to the end of the row, going to chain 1 and double crochet into the second fan from the end and into the next stitch and the turning chain. So now we're on to our last increase. So chain 1 and work 2 double crochets into the base of the stitch, and then chain 2 and work a double crochet into the first fan space as before, and into the next. And just continue chaining 2 and working a double crochet into the space at the left of the fan, and then at the end of the row chain 2 again and work a double crochet into the last but one stitch, and a double crochet into the next stitch, and then another double crochet into that stitch, and then into the chain 1. So there you have it. Just continue straight in pattern until you've got 4 lots of pattern. And so the next step is to sew the shoulder seams together and make sure that everything's on the wrong side. So the tail on the right is the correct side, and we want it to be on the wrong side. So that's on the wrong side, and that's on the wrong side, and that's on the wrong side. No, that's not right. So sew the shoulder seams together, and then what you're going to do with the sleeve is fold it in half and then place a marker in the center of the fold so that when you sew it, you know you can pin it to the shoulder seam to make sure it's in the exact right place. So just join everything together like that, and then we'll go on to the border. So now it's all sewn together, we're going to go into the corner of the right front and rejoin the yarn. And then I'm going to chain 3 and then work a treble into each row of stitch all the way around. And I'm using the 3.5mm hook again because it's for the border. So just continue to work trebles up until you get to the beginning of the shaping of the neck. And then you're gonna treble 3 into the very corner. So just continue to treble around, 3 trebles into that corner, around the back of the neck, and then 3 trebles into that corner, and then down to the end. So now we're going to go back the other way. So we're going to chain 3, and then we're going to work around the treble around the back post of the first stitch, and then around the front post of the next stitch, back post and front post, and just continue until you get to the corner where you did the 3 trebles, and put 3 trebles into the center treble, and then carry on around and the same for the next corner, a treble into the middle of the 3 trebles and then back to the end.